Biswa, is this okay?
Yes, it's okay. We need to add the banner.
How do we do that? How do you do that?
Hello?
Alrighty, good evening, everyone, and good morning to some. We'll get this started in the next few minutes. We just want to ascertain that we have quite a number of people on board. So we'll start in the next 2 to 3 minutes thereabout.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Good evening. And we're going to start the session very soon. We're just waiting for more participants to join, and we will begin shortly. Okay, I think this is a good time to start. Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to United Capital PLC's webinar. My name is Bisola Eforen and I'm going to be the moderator for today's session. I'll just start with a brief introduction about United Capital PLC. We are a leading Pan-African financial services company, and we provide bespoke products and services for investment banking, asset management, trustees, securities trading, and many more. Most importantly, we also have a digital arm, and that's our Invest Now. It's our pride and our joy. It basically brings your investment portfolio and your investment options to your smartphone or your mobile devices, laptops, etc. And it basically gives you various investment options like mutual funds, money market funds, treasury bills, stock trading, and so many more. So before we officially begin, I wanted to give some guidelines to help us experience this session even better. So the very first thing is that we should please everyone, especially on Zoom, please ensure that your microphones are muted at all times to avoid any background distractions. We don't want to hear what's going on in your background. The second thing is to please respond to the speaker's questions using the non-verbal feedback option. So just use the raise your hand feature if you need to respond to something. So if, for example, the speaker wants to know if you can see his screen, if he's audible, then you can just raise your hands to indicate that. The third thing is that there will be a question and answer session. So right after Aure's presentation, there will be a question and answer session. So please send your questions to the chat box on Zoom. So for the viewers on Zoom, send it to the chat box, and the viewers on YouTube, please send it to the comment section, and they'll be treated right after the presentation from Aure. And the very last thing is for Zoom viewers, if you are unexpectedly logged out for any reason, please feel free to join us on YouTube. We are live as well. All right, so for the reason why we are here, I'll just give you some context as to what we'll be discussing. The topic is investing back home, the gold mine of dollar-denominated investments. So this topic is targeted at Nigerians in diaspora and Nigerians in diaspora who are looking to invest in Nigeria, right? Invest back home. And also for Nigerian residents who are interested in investing in foreign denominations. So our speaker, Aure Ajayi, he is the head of digital and retail sales at United Capital PLC. He's a referenced financial advisor with multiple years of experience in this field. He'll be giving us basically a manual to go about dollar-denominated investments and basically tell you about ways to diversify your investment portfolio. So without further ado, grab your pens, get ready, and listen to some gems from Aure Ajayi. So over to you, Aure.
Thank you, Bisola. I couldn't have said it better myself. Hello, everyone. Good evening to some, and good morning to others. So we'll get this started. As my colleague mentioned already, today's topic is really for our friends, family members, and prospective investors in diaspora. The reason why we decided to come up with this webinar today is to address key issues that we've been getting from clients and prospective investors as regards investing back home in Nigeria, right? And most especially as regards dollar-denominated investments. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about dollar-denominated investments. We're going to talk about the do's and don'ts when investing back in Nigeria, how to conduct your due diligence, and of course, it will give you like a dashboard of what's really going on in the market as at now. Of course, we also talk about other forms of investments, naira-denominated investments that we do also have in Nigeria and in United Capital. So we'll get it started by introducing United Capital. For those of you that are not familiar with the brand, right? My colleague already gave a quick intro, so I don't want to go too much into that, but there's some few things I think would really interest you about United Capital. Firstly, we're the only investment bank that is listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And that speaks a lot to our credibility, our expertise, and accountability as an organization. We've been doing this for over 50 years, and currently we have in excess of $500 million in asset under management, right? That speaks to our balance sheet size and strength to be able to continue as a going concern entity. So United Capital has various arms. We have the investment banking, we have the securities trading, we have the asset management, trustee services, and research. So let's go straight into it, people. So we're going to start with a bit of an economic update. So we'll look at what's happening in the global economy as a whole. We're speaking to most of you that are in various locations, and we'd like you to share where you are. Probably you could just put that in the chat box as well. If you're from Canada, if you're from UK, from US, we'd really like to know where you're listening to us from. So looking at the global markets, we're just trying to see what's really been happening in this space, how it's affecting you in your local economy over there. And from what we can see so far, the economy so far has been pretty bearish across board in the global markets and equally in our local markets, majorly due to the COVID-19 outbreak. And we'll see that most stock markets across board are in that negative territory. Canada is doing about negative 9.6, the American S&P about negative 3.6, and the UK minus 17.1. And you'll see that the stocks are even gaining a bit of value across board globally, the ones that are into pharmaceuticals, technology, and financial services. And this because these are key segments that can still function rather effectively and are also essential at this time, right? So this just shows you what's really happening in the global landscape and where opportunities lie in your space, majorly being around technology, pharmaceuticals, and financial services. But we'll take it back home now. But before we do that, we brought this slide up to really just show you the available economy, right? We have, someone's mic is on. Can you put off your mic? Thank you. Right. So from what we can see in the global markets, when it comes to the money market space and mutual funds, we can see across the Canadian and the US markets, returns doing about 0.4% to about 1.69% annually in that space. And generally their bonds are basically below 1%. Now, if you're an investor and you're looking for returns, I don't believe 1% or 0.2% would really quote it as an investment. This is pretty much just a savings. And this is why most investors in diaspora are always looking for that alternative, that extra edge, what gives them that extra value. And that's why you only get that kind of value in the emerging markets. I believe, Femi, your mic is on. Please kindly put that off, please. Right. So if you're looking for that extra edge, of course, you can't be looking at a developed economy, usually rates across that space usually range from about 1 to 2%. So if you're looking for that extra edge, then you have to start looking across board. You have to start looking at the emerging markets. You have to start looking at the Nigerian market to really get these yields that you do deserve. Now, taking it home to the Nigerian markets, this would really interest a lot of us to see what's really happening back home. Because for some of us, it might look really unclear what's really happening in the economy, and different stories are being told. And that's why I want to clear out today, to tell the true story, to tell you the Nigerian story. Now, currently in our market, our GDP is currently at 1.9%. Inflation is at 12.3%. The Brent crude is currently trading at $40, while we have an external reserve of about $36.4 billion, right? Which is pretty good. Now, I'll just tell you what all this really means for you. So in Nigeria, having this level of external reserves, this just means our central bank can really get to defend the Naira a bit more to keep the FX exchange rate rather a bit stable. And of course, with the increase in crude oil prices, right, that will equally help them with, as regards revenue, to be able to do this a bit further. We also look at the trends in our markets. We've also equally been hit a lot by the COVID-19. As of course, we're all aware, there have been a number of restrictions, lockdowns across various states, which has hampered economic activity. And you'll see how this has taken an effect on our Nigerian stock exchange and how the returns are faring in the next slide. However, as regards the FX exchange rate, as at now, the dollar is currently trading at 386 Naira in the I&E window, while in the parallel market is currently trading at 449 Naira. This is as a result of the recent pressure. Sorry, someone's mic is on. This is as a result of the recent pressure on the Central Bank of Nigeria, which forced them to devalue the Naira from a 360 to where it is currently at 386 on the I&E window. We still have to say there might still be further devaluations in the future, but with the current reserve that we have and the gradual easing of the lockdown, we expect the government to be able to defend our current position going forward. So this next section is going to speak to a bit of what diasporas have been doing as regards their funds, bringing them to Nigeria, and of course, most importantly, due diligence. I believe due diligence is very, very important. You cannot overlook this. There have been various stories I hear from various clients as regards how they've fallen into traps of, the wrong hands because they failed to do the appropriate due diligence. And why? Because they just didn't know how to. And that's why we at United Capital, we believe, in empowering you with enough information to ensure that you get this adequately done. You'll see that we currently have, these are reports as at 2017, we have about over 1.24 million Nigerians in diaspora, remitting home about $22 billion as at 2017 and 23.63 billion as at 2018. Majority of these remittances that have been coming into the country have majorly been split between consumption and investment, 70% being that of consumption and 30% being that of investment. But this just speaks to the financial muscles that you guys have in diaspora. You have a lot of power and influence to drive the local economy here in Nigeria. You can drive it to your favor. You can take advantage of various opportunities. So we'd like to see a bit of the percentage shields from that 70-30 to at least a 50-50 in the nearest future, because we're going to keep on promoting and telling the story, which is Nigeria, which is the opportunities that do exist in our own markets. Majority of the remittances that have been coming are usually from the UK, the US, Cameroon, Canada, Spain, Ghana, and the likes. And this is good to know, because we at United Capital are open to investments in various denominations, be it the euro, the pounds, or the dollar. Licensed remittance agents that most people tend to use are the Transfert the UAE exchange, the world remit, and worry. Although what we can see from research is most of the remittances are actually done through informal channels, right? About 65% are actually done through informal channels. So if we're to track that, we'll see that a whole lot more is coming into the country. Or another means of remitting your funds back home into Nigeria for personal purposes or be investment will be through your typical international money transfer from your bank, right? It's always safe, it's straightforward, and charges are rather a bit fair as well, just transferring these funds back home. Now, which regulatory bodies should you be working with? Should you be researching to ensure that you're making the right decision and you're doing your due diligence? We have the Securities and Exchange Commission, which is the apex regulatory institution of the Nigerian capital markets. So if you're looking to make fresh investments in Nigeria, I would urge you to first of all go to the SEC website and see that the counterparty you're about to do business with is licensed and registered. So you can find more information on the SEC website as regards institutions that are registered, that are accredited for investments. Of course, we also have the Nigerian Stock Exchange, where you can find out information of companies that are listed on the stock exchange. There's also the Nigeria Diaspora Commission, which you also can get more valuable information about investing back home on. And of course, the Central Bank of Nigeria's website will also be a very, very important resource for you to be able to do your background checks on the various banks, microfinance houses that you're looking to do investments back with in Nigeria. So for the do's and don'ts of investing back home, as I said earlier, one thing that you must do at every point in time is your due diligence. The next thing is to make sure that you match your returns with the risk. Usually they higher the risk, they higher the returns. However, you have to be very guided in this regard as regards what you're doing. Of course, you need to speak with a validated financial advisor. I cannot overemphasize that. That is really, really important. Having first-hand information like the one you're getting today will do you a whole lot of good. Now, things you should not do, and a number of people have made this error in the past. The first one being letting a third party manage your investments. I say this every single time I get the opportunity. I believe that you should have strong relationships with people. However, your trust should not be in people, especially when it comes to money. It should be in processes. And that's why you need to work with accredited finance houses to do your investments. So, you transferring, you can be abroad and someone will tell you, oh, you can't access this market, you can't access this market, send the money to me, I'll do it for you in my name, I'll give you the proceeds back. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Transfer investment funds to a personal account. If you're to do investments with a finance house, they would never ever provide you a personal account to do a transfer into. Lastly, do not think you can double your money investing in Nigeria. We understand there are a lot of loopholes in our economy, in our system, and all that, which perhaps may make a number of people feel there are opportunities to double money, to take advantage of this. People will tell you different stories of how you can flip money. But trust me, those are not investments. You will probably end up losing your funds. So do not invest your money in any money doubling schemes. So what are the investment options in Nigeria? Just like with every other market that you have over there in the UK, the US, and Canada, we have our capital markets, we have our money markets. Our capital market majorly being where we have the government and corporate bonds, the stock markets, the euro bonds, and for the money markets, we have our treasury bills, commercial papers, and fixed deposits. I'll still show you a bit more as regards each of these various segments where you'll be able to see a dashboard and see what is currently returning in Nigeria as we speak. So for the dashboard, this shows you, and I hope everyone is seeing my screen. If you're seeing my screen, please raise up your hand and you're seeing the information very clearly. It's very important that you're seeing it. Right. So for the capital and money market dashboard, we can see what the local bonds in Nigeria are doing. The 2021 is currently having a yield of about 4.7%, while you see that the 2050 is doing about 12.2. Yes, the maturity basically ranges from about 1 to 20, basically 1 to about 30 years, right? So depending on the tenor you intend to go for, that will determine the yield that you're currently going to have. Most of them are currently trading at a premium position. And the reason why most of our bonds are trading at a premium at the moment is because there's an excess demand for these instruments by the local players and of course the foreign players as well. So that's putting a lot of pressure in that regard. But for the federal government Eurobond market, which is dollar-denominated. So this is a dollar-denominated borrowing by the federal government, while the local bond is a long-term borrowing by the federal government of Nigeria. All these instruments have the full faith of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which means they will not default and they will meet the obligation of paying both the coupons and the principal repayment as at when due. So if we see what's happening in the Eurobond market, which is dollar-denominated, right, we can see that you can get yields of about 5 to about 9%, depending on the tenor. The reason why we're putting this out there typically for investors, because we see a lot of opportunities. Typically, most of these bonds, federal Euro bonds, were trading at a discount just 2-3 months ago. Some were trading at the $70 level, $70 level rather, which are now trading at 101, which means you could have made a good spread if you had invested at that time. And that's a critical opportunity. We saw a number of investors playing in this space, taking advantage of this. And that's why we would keep on telling this story about looking back home and making this investment. There are several opportunities in our space. Besides even the yield that we're talking about, typically we spoke about the yields across the global markets doing 1-2%, and we're seeing yields in the same currency giving you about 9-5% thereabouts in between that, right? So the last treasury bill auction in Nigeria closed for the 91-day at 1.8%, while 182 days did 2%, and the 364 days did 3.7%. Now, if we look at what's happening in the treasury bill space, we can see that the returns are really poor, and I'm sure a number of us would not be looking to bring back home funds for this purpose, right? A number of us will not be looking to bring back home funds for this specific purpose, right? So the returns in that space have been very, very poor due to the government's fiscal policy. The Nigerian government is looking to spur investment in the local economy, in the real economy, therefore driving rates really low to encourage businesses to be able to have loans and take loans. So we expect the government to keep this policy going at this current rates going forward, because this is their policy so far. They've been able to hold down this position for quite a period now. So we'll move to the next slide. So for the Nigerian stock markets, the stock markets has been performing a bit poor, just like with every other market, currently returning a negative 6.9%. But for us, we do not see this as a downside. We see this as a huge opportunity for prospective investors. This is a huge opportunity for you to take advantage of. If you're someone that's not taking advantage of the stock exchange, the Nigerian Stock Exchange, this is an opportunity for you. Most of the stocks are trading at a huge discount to where they usually are, to their true position. If you take stocks like MTN, GTB, Zenith Bank, Dangote, Nestle, which are top stock picks, you'll see that there is quite an opportunity for you to take advantage in this space. So we urge every discerning investor to really look into the Nigerian Stock Exchange to take advantage of the current prices, which are very low. We would see that most of the sectors are doing poorly: banking, consumer goods, oil and gas especially as well, but we can see a bit of recovery in terms of industrial goods and insurance. Now, for the topic of the day, which we've all been waiting to, talk about, is investing in dollar-denominated investments. So there are two ways in which you can invest in dollar-denominated investments here in Nigeria and with United Capital. First being, if you're someone looking to buy a direct euro bond, and I'll tell you what it takes for you to buy a direct euro bond, as well as what it takes for you to invest in mutual funds that actually take advantage of this same space. Typically, to buy a direct euro bond, you need a minimum investment of $200,000. As we saw earlier, the various tenors range from about 1 to 21 years with very, very attractive yields on them. Valuation typically, if you buy a direct bond, is mark to market. What this simply means is that you would typically get your regular coupons, but if for any reason you want to trade before maturity, then you're subject to what's happening in the market at that particular point in time. Transaction fee in this space is usually volume specific. That pretty much drives what your fee is going to be in that regard. So for the Eurobond fund, which is a mutual fund that invests and takes advantage of this same instrument, typically the minimum investment in this space is typically about $1,000. The minimum investment period is 30 days, and we work with an accrual valuation, which means you're not subject to volatilities in the markets. We typically provide an annual return that is paying your dividend or returns basically annually. And what we do or what we charge is typically just a 1% management fee on the entire fund. I'll speak more to about our Eurobond fund. There's more information as regards this. But for you knowing which space to play, it really has to do with the volume of investment you're ready to make, how long you can make this investment for. So you kind of have to choose in between these two choices and decide what space favors you the most. So if you're someone that has about $200,000, you're looking to invest and just get repeated coupons over a number of years, of course, we can help you with the transaction to help you purchase one of the bonds directly. Or if you're someone that is in the category of you having just in excess of $1,000 to 10,000 to 20 to 30 to 100 thereabouts, then we'll urge you to take advantage of a mutual fund that invests in this space. So what is our investment solution here at United Capital? We believe that everyone should be able to have direct access to investment. We believe in cutting off unnecessary middlemen. And that's why we have a digital platform that my colleague spoke to earlier called Invest Now. This is our pride. It's a leader in the market in the digital space. It allows you to do everything investments in Nigeria. You can trade on stocks, you can invest in mutual funds, you can start with a zero account or opening balance, you can take advantage of trustee services, you could do quite a number of things on this application. And it's very easy to use. You can use it on your Android or your iOS, or you can use it on your laptops or any mobile enabled device, literally, you can use your Invest Now. So we urge you as we're having this session to prompt you ahead, as I'm going to still speak to some of the products, to start downloading it, to start getting a look and feel. And you can even just start opening your account as we speak on the go. You need no physical documentation. Everything can be done digitally. So as I said, I would speak more to the mutual fund, the Eurobond fund. Currently, mutual fund currently is in excess of $50 million. The reason for this, most of our investors have found this a very, very essential investment in their portfolio. Looking back at what has happened in the FX space, most of our investors are taking advantage of this investment at the 360 Naira level, currently have their holdings and have gained significantly when it comes to FX gain. But if you're someone in diaspora that is looking to invest in this space, what we tend to offer you is you being able to still get higher returns while still having that same currency, because most investors will typically want a currency that is relatively stable, that they can convert convert to, from, and whatnot. So for example, if you invest in dollars, you can easily convert that to pounds or to your Canadian dollars or whatever currency may be of interest to you. And that's why I think this would be of great importance to you. The minimum entry is very, very attractive at $1,000. The returns are also equally very, very attractive to investors. So we urge you to take advantage of our Eurobond fund. It's very easy. You would be able to access your returns on the Invest Now platform and see the types of returns you're getting. You'll be able to see the type of returns you're getting in this space. So we urge you to take advantage of this. I look forward to your questions as regards this, because I'm sure we're going to have quite a number of questions as regards the Eurobond fund. The other option that most investors should also equally look at is our United Capital Bond Fund. This is a Naira-denominated investment. Now, the reason why this is very essential at this time is because I already showed what's happening in the money market space, which is the treasury bill space, where returns are about 1.8 to about 4%. So if you're to invest in Nigeria, you're bringing your dollars, you're bringing your pounds to Nigeria. Of course, you want returns that would match up to the risk that you are taking. And of course, for me personally, I would believe returns in the space of 8% fits the bill adequately. So if you're someone that's been doing investments back in Nigeria and you're not getting sufficient value as regards the type of returns, then our United Capital Bond Fund, which is Naira denominated, will also be of good value to you. Currently returning about 8.89%, minimum entry of 10,000 Naira. And it just gives you that flexibility you need. Minimum holding period is just 90 days. So this is typically just 3 months, and you'll be getting this type of returns. The other option that you have that you might want to take advantage of is our money market fund, right? Just like with every other money market that you have in the global space, this tends to target your short-term liquidity requirement, right? If you're someone that still has some funds here in Nigeria that you have some obligations to meet from time to time, then this is something you should look at, right? With a minimum holding period of just 30 days, still a minimum entry of 10,000 Naira, giving you a return of about 6.58% as we speak, you can meet your short-term liquidity requirements, be it stipends that you're giving your family members here in Nigeria, or you're paying for some school fees for your kids back home, or medical bills. Instead of you having your funds idle in your bank accounts, which you still probably keep, right? This is an alternative. You can easily then move your returns from it back to account, then make the required disbursements that you need. We think the money market will also be of good value to you for your short-term liquidity requirements, while the bond fund is a bit more medium-term as regards the outlook. And of course, the Eurobond fund definitely will keep that same value for you, right, while giving you significant levels of returns. So like I like to leave most people with during my session is just to always emphasize the importance of investment. So there's a quote from this man over here, and it states, inflation is a tide that submerges our savings. We need to invest to stay afloat, right? What just this speaks to is we all need to develop an investment culture, because whether we like it or not, inflation will always continue to be there, and we always have to fight it to stay afloat, right? We always have to generate sufficient returns to ensure that we're getting real returns on our investments, right? So at this point, I will be taking your questions and answer. I would go back to this page for people that would like to get my contact for personal information or personal consultation thereafter. But as of now, we would open the floor for the question and answer. Thank you, everyone. Biswa.
Thank you very much, Greg. Thank you very much, Ore, for that. It was a very illuminating and insightful session. I can see already that our viewers have some questions for you. So we'll take some from Zoom and a few of them from YouTube as well. So the first question is from Sean E. And Sean is asking, is the 1% management fee on the total capital invested? This should be in reference to the Eurobond fund. Or you're on mute.
Yeah, I just realized, sorry about that. Right, so as you guess the management fees. So if you notice, I said the management fees on the entire size or the entire asset under management. So it's not specific to your particular investment. It actually, refers to the entire asset under management. And our returns are quoted are usually net of all fees. So the 6.5% that we quoted is net of all fees to the investors.
Okay, I hope that answers your question, Cheryl. All right, please, can you stop sharing screen so we can actually see you? Right now, we cannot see you at all.
Okay, yeah. Can you see me now?
I believe so. If you can see Aura, please, can you raise your hands?
All right, great. They can see me.
Fantastic. Okay, let's go ahead then. Second question is from Buki Adewi, and she wants to know what kind of rate of return we can expect on the mutual funds. And are we going to lose on the principal through exchange loss, or can we, the compound question, or can we transfer foreign currency to Nigeria? How do you want to treat this?
Right.
Should I start with the first question? Maybe I should break it into three parts. Fantastic. Okay. So Buki says, what kind of rate of return can we expect on the mutual fund? Question one. Question two, are we going to lose on the principal through exchange loss, or that's the third question, or can we transfer foreign currency to Nigeria?
All right, so I think it's like a compound question. What's most important from the question I got there is, can you transfer foreign currency to Nigeria? Yes, you can. We have quite a number of clients in diaspora that currently do this, right? So typically you could just walk into your local bank over there and request to transfer funds to our various accounts, right? So if you're, for example, in the UK, and you wanted to transfer funds to us, you could give a request to your bank to transfer your funds in dollars to us, and it will hit our account. We have a number of clients doing that. We have clients sending money from the US, from Canada as well. So you could always easily make transfers to us. In fact, that's what we would advise you to do to eliminate multiple charges. So if you were to transfer funds back to your Nigerian account, perhaps your domiciliary account, you would then have to transfer that again to us, and that will be another charge. So we advise you transfer that straight to us from wherever it is you're located. As regards the expected returns on the mutual funds, you kind of need to be specific as regards each one. But as regards the Eurobond space, we expect it to stay relatively stable as where it is now. So it's supposed to return something between the range of about 6 to about 8%, right? And as regards you losing your principal, that does not happen on this fund because we do not mark to market. Your capital is fully preserved, right? Your capital is fully preserved. So if you invested $10,000 with us, you're rest assured that $10,000 would remain $10,000. Another thing I think I really should mention is at the point of redemption, right? We do transfers to literally any country, right? We transfer your funds back to wherever you desire, as long as it's your account, because we do not do third-party payments. So we can transfer the funds back to you. And guess what? We bear the charges. So you do not bear any charges as regards your redemption, right? So that's why I say if you invested $10,000 with us, you're sure to get $10,000 back plus interest.
Okay, fantastic. We have another question from Priscilla Okiria, and she wants to know what rates the dollar investments will be made at. So is it 386 or 449?
Right. So typically, what would we expect is that you'll be transferring the funds from wherever it is you're located. It would have been very helpful to know where exactly you were, so I will be able to advise. But wherever it is you're located, take for example, if you are in the US and
But
you're
she says she's
transferring.
in the UK.
Sorry.
She says she's in the UK.
Right. So if you're in the UK, it depends on what your bank over there, what exchange rate they would swap that at for you, right? But it's pretty stable, from what I see so far, right? So you can easily just speak with your local bank and ask them at what conversion rate will they convert the pounds to the dollar. So we're not the ones that we don't do the conversion, right? Your HSBC or and the likes will do that for you.
All right. More questions. So we have one from okay. We have one from Lanre Adeleke.
Right.
And he said, is capital invested secured for the Nigerian bond fund?
Oh yes, yes it is. For all the investments I've spoken about, the Eurobond fund, the bond fund, and the money markets, your capital is preserved. So there is no erosion of your principal. There is no loss to be experienced in that regard. All you're concerned about going forward is the level of interest which you get, which we know we're very competitive in. So you're sure to get the best returns in the market.
All right, so the next question is from John. It says, how can non-Nigerians invest, and how can he invest in Eurobond directly? That's a two-part question.
Right. So for non-Nigerians, you could also invest. What we need you to typically do is to provide the adequate documentation, which is our KYC. You will need to fill our form, give us information about yourself, information about your address, and you're good to go pretty much. Yes, we can do a direct purchase for you. It will pretty much be the typical process whereby you transfer the funds from where you are to us. We buy on your behalf. We provide you all the required certification, and pretty much everything is on autopilot from there. So this is pretty much open to Nigerians or non-Nigerians, wherever you are, you can invest in Nigeria. There is no limit or limitation to who can invest with us.
Okay. So there are actually many questions referring to the exchange rate, but I guess you've already responded to that. So
I mean, just for people that didn't really get that clearly, the exchange rate bits, right? This is my own assumption, right, from the conversation we're having, is that you're transferring funds from Canada, from UK, or from US, and you would give your bank an instruction to make sure that the funds that hit our account is USD, right? That conversion process will be done by your own local bank over there. It will not be done by us. So we do not control the exchange rate. But if they're speaking to them having perhaps some loose naira here in Nigeria that they're looking to convert to dollars to invest in Eurobond space, then that's a different conversation on its own, and it's never fixed. It's dependent on what's happening in the market per unit time. Yes, we do help clients with swap options. So what a swap option would offer you is, if you're someone that has naira and you're looking to invest in the Eurobond fund, then we can of course swap those funds on your behalf. But the rate to which the swap will be done is market determined. So I can't speak to an exact rate as we speak.
All right, then I hope that answers the questions for you. We have an interesting question from Okwe. Okwe wants to know, she said, I have read that rates soared as high as 17% in March. How come this didn't translate in the rates UCML maintained?
17% in March.
Yes.
Which market? What product? You kind of have to.
Please, can you mute your mic, please?
You kind of have to be a bit more specific as regards that. Or I can give you for free across any market, right? Be it Eurobond space or the local market, the bond market, or the money market. It never touched 17%. In fact, that we've been dreaming for 17% for a while now. We've not seen that, right? The market has been pretty low all across board. For treasury bills, it's been 1.8 to about 4%, depending on the tenor. For the bonds as well, you see yields at about 11, 12, 13%. So it's never at any point reached 17%. So I think she would need to, or he would need to be a bit more specific or clear as you guys say.
Okay, so this is the message from Sam Ochoma. Are there processes in place to keep investors safe from the highly volatile market? And also, what risks should potential investors be aware of?
Right, that's a very valid question. I wish I spoke to that earlier, so thank you for that prompt. I think I have to speak to the framework of the mutual funds in Nigeria. It's pretty airtight, right? So all mutual funds are regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission of Nigeria. Hence why I said and showed earlier that that's a regulator that you definitely need to follow up on before you make investments. Secondly, mutual funds are usually structured in a way whereby there are different parties. One of the parties being a custodian, the other being a trustee, and the last being the fund manager. We at United Capital are the fund managers, right? We are the fund managers to all these funds. However, we have custodians and trustees that play critical roles. Now, what a custodian typically does is they sit on the assets that are being invested, which means that the funds are never with United Capital at any point in time. The funds will always reside with the custodian. The assets to which we buy will always reside with the custodian. And what this means in effect is if for any reason United Capital were to be liquidated, this fund will still exist, these assets will still remain, right? What would typically happen in that situation is the fund will be moved to another fund manager. But of course, that's not happening with United Capital. We're here to stay. We're 50 years strong, and of course, we'll do many more, right? But however, that just speaks to the structure that is. For most of our funds, we have Stanbic being custodian of, and we also have FCMB custodians being custodians to our fund. And we also have trustees. Now, what the job of the trustees is to ensure that everything that we are doing is by the book. It's pretty much like our Bible. For each fund, it has a purpose and it has a guideline. So we cannot do anything beyond or outside the guidelines. So for example, I'll give you a practical example. If the real estate market was booming all of a sudden, we can say, hey, that's a quick opportunity and say, hey, let's take these dollars there and put it in the real estate market. We are only allowed to invest in FGN issued Euro bond and also that of top tier corporates. And of course, on fixed term deposits. So we cannot take funds outside that space. And that's why most of those funds are termed low risk investments, given the instruments that we are allowed to invest. We can't take the funds outside that space. So the same. So they're pretty much pretty airtight as regards security. So you're sure that your funds are going to stay safe. Hope that helped. Miss, are you there?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was on mute. So we have another question from Akin Pelu Akinsoya, and he wants to know what is the minimum investment amount for the Eurobond, and what is the penalty for liquidating before the due date, if that is allowed, and is the penalty only on the yield?
Right. No, it's fine. For the Eurobond mutual fund, typically, as I mentioned earlier, the minimum investment period is 30 days, which simply means that if you keep your funds beyond that period of time, you would never be charged a penal fee, right? But if for any reason within the initial 30 days you needed your funds for any reason, yes, you will be charged a penal fee. But the good thing is that the penal fee is just on the accrued returns, not on your principal investment, and is as little as 0.25%. In which case you barely notice. That's what it means. So it's a very highly liquid fund for you to invest. Oh yes, and of course the minimum to invest in the mutual fund is $1,000. You can literally start today.
Okay, so a couple of people here want to confirm if you need a dollar account to open a Eurobond fund?
So typically, if you're in diaspora, let's say if you're in the US, definitely you already have a dollar-denominated account. So we would just transfer the funds back to you whenever you need it, right? So that's fine. So if the question is simply saying that with your foreign accounts, can you open an account with us? The answer is yes. You could, I mean, it might pay you better if you want to be getting your returns and you're in the UK and you want to get your returns back in dollars. It might pay you to then open a dollar-denominated account there in the UK so we can transfer that to you. I have clients that do have dollar-denominated accounts across Europe, right? So we just simply transfer the funds back to them in USD because that's their preference. So it really depends on you. So if you want to ensure that the funds that hit you are dollar denominated as well, so you're not subjected to the FX risk of converting here and there, then it's advisable for you to then open a dollar-denominated account wherever it is you're located as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be Nigeria. So I think that's what the question was trying to drive at.
All right. Let me just go to YouTube and see what questions we have there.
Right.
Okay, I think we've treated. This is a question from Inkem and Norway. Do you pay dividends on your Eurobond fund?
Sorry?
If you do, how often in a year? Do you pay dividends on your Eurobond fund, and how often in a year do you pay?
So that's done annually. It's once a year.
Okay.
So yeah, the payment is done once a year. However, as I said, you have access to your funds at any point in time in between. So practical example, you invested for 6 months, something came up and you needed your funds. You could simply just request for what your current value is, which is your principal and accrued returns at that point in time. So you just get it. And good thing to also notice, you could always make additional investments at any point in time. So you started investing with $10,000, doesn't limit you to say, hey, I've done 10,000. You could always add to that and say, hey, let me top up with another 10. I have people in diaspora that do monthly remittances back home just for this Eurobond fund, right? So if you're someone that's a salary earner over there and you typically want to put these funds aside, then of course you can simply just be transferring home funds to Eurobond fund at will.
All right. So Olajumoke Brima has a question. She wants to know, how do you fund the account if you're based in Nigeria, and can she pay in dollar cash?
Right. So funding your account is pretty simple. It's typically the same way you would do a typical transfer. So you just go to your bank, your local banker, and tell them you're looking to do a transfer. But usually dollar transfers are always treated as international transfer. So if you're transferring from GTB to a custodian account in FCMB, then they would typically treat that like it was going to the US and back to Nigeria, going through an intermediary bank, Citibank, right, and hit back into our accounts. Usually that process usually takes between 24 to 48 hours. But the other question as regards cash, we do not accept cash, unfortunately. What I would advise you to do in that situation is to deposit the cash in your account, thereafter transfer it to us. I understand there have been issues as regards moving dollars across the country so lately, but I advise you to look at the various banks and ask them if they can help you with that. I know some banks that do, so you could consider UBA, you could consider FCMB and the likes that can help you with such a transfer, but we do not accept cash. All our transactions are via inflow.
All right. So you had treated this before, but Maud wants to know at what exact point in the year are dividends paid, and can they be automatically reinvested?
All right, good question. Yes, they can be automatically reinvested. The choice is yours. So when you're opening your account, you'll be prompted to make a decision whether you would like your dividend reinvested or you would like that paid to you. So at that point, you could select what your preference is. Typically, as I said earlier, we pay this once a year on the Eurobond. However, the money market is done quarterly. and the bond fund is done annually as well. As regards when we do this for the bond fund and Euro bond fund, it's usually around July. The reason for this is, as I said, it's fully regulated. We have to have our regulators approve our financials and approve the payments. Usually that takes them about a couple of months to go through rigorously, and approvals usually come around that period. So typically we usually pay within the period of June, July.
All right, so that's June, July, ME. One more question. So considering there's a risk of devaluation being speculated, how does devaluation impact the yields of Eurobonds?
So as regards the devaluation affecting the yields of Eurobonds, so currently there's no fresh issuance as regards the Eurobond in that space. So, but foreign investors typically are very wary as regards a potential devaluation. Why so? Because if you're bringing your funds into an economy at a current rate now and there's a devaluation, then you seem to pretty much have lost value, and it's so much harder for you to get your funds back. So that's what's making them very skeptical. So when the COVID-19 was at its peak and oil prices had receded at that point in time, we could see that a number of our foreign portfolio investors were very skeptical of our market and began to dump their Euro bonds. And that's what brought down the prices to the levels that I spoke of earlier, where you could see people buying Euro bonds at 72, 74, 78, thereabouts, because there was a massive dump of the Euro bond as at then. So at any point whereby the foreign investors feel very skeptical as regards what's going to be happening in local markets, then definitely you would see the prices on those bonds significantly decline. But with a decline in pricing, there comes an increased yield, which could equally serve as an opportunity. So it really depends at what point in time you bought, right? It really depends. So if you're someone that bought at a premium and there's a potential devaluation, then of course that's not really good for you in that regard, because the prices will go low, and if you were to sell, you'll be selling at a loss, technically. However, if you're someone that is buying when the market is already depressed, then of course you stand to get good yields and a potential gain by selling at a premium. So it really depends on where you are. And as I said earlier as well, it really depends on the type of investment you want to make. Are you the type of investor that is looking to get coupons for a period of time and hold the investment to maturity? If you're holding an investment to maturity, you're not going to be subjected to the volatilities of the market. So you're good, literally. You're going to get your constant coupon. Right. However, if you're someone that is looking to take advantage of the market, of course, you then don't want to buy at a premium, right? You really want to take advantage of the market when it's depressed. But as the question was directed earlier, if there's a devaluation, that just leads to a dumping and it crashes the rates in the Eurobond space.
Okay, thank you, Ore. More questions are flowing in. So Benjamin has a question. First of all, he said, great job and thanks for the information. He wants to know if you can suggest other high-risk investments provided by United Capital.
So, right. What I would advise, and this is something I do personally, I always do for most of my clients that I work with, I would typically tell them what I do. For me, the stock market in Nigeria is a gold mine. I know we're all used to our markets or your global markets where things are a bit stable, things look very attractive with the tech stocks. But trust me, the returns that people have made in the Nigerian Stock Exchange, even while there was COVID-19, you'll be surprised. UBA crashed to about 4 naira thereabouts, is trading at 6 naira now, right? The same thing happened with Dangote Cement, was trading at 118, which is a year all-time low, currently trading at 135, even after it paid dividend and that have been deducted, right? So the kind of gains you can make on the Nigerian Stock Exchange with the right level of information is limitless. In a year, you could really do strong turnovers. So for me, if you're looking to play in any risky space in Nigeria, of course, I always speak about doing something within a controlled environment where you can have your eyes on, you can do stuff. That's why I would typically not talk about real estate in this conversation now, because you're not on ground. to monitor what's being built. You have to transfer money to one cousin. You come back to Nigeria, you see the cousin didn't even buy the land. Those type of situations that we see happen from time to time. But if you're looking to take high risk, I think the stock market is for you. And as I said, we invest now. You can start trading. So you can trade by yourself wherever it is you're located in Nigeria, right? You can trade on the Nigerian Stock Exchange wherever it is you're located. We provide stock picks, right? While you're trading, you'll be able to see our stock picks in real time. So it's very easy. However, if you're someone that's really, really busy and you don't have time to play in this space, then you could just simply go for our equity fund. So just the same way we have this other mutual funds, we have an equity fund that solely invests in the stock market. So that's just simply just you leaving the funds in our own custody in that mutual fund to take advantage of the market on your behalf. Yes, that's doing poorly at the moment, given the current returns in the entire Nigerian Stock Exchange. However, the right time to buy is now, not when it's doing well. And that's where a lot of people make mistake with the Nigerian Stock Exchange. They go with the buzz, right? When they hear people are making 20% is when they jump in. Nobody wants to put their money when the market is losing 6%. And that's where you should be putting your money right now. And as we showed you 5 stock picks earlier, we have the likes of GTB, we have Dangote, we have MTN. Telecommunication in Nigeria is booming at the moment with COVID-19. With all these restrictions taking place in the country, everyone, just like I'm doing this webinar now, as opposed to coming to the US or the UK and having a meeting with the town hall with you, right? Everyone is doing taking advantage of this medium, and we have very few players in our market, which MTN is one of the major players and is listed, right? So you can take advantage of a stock like that, which is sure to perform very well this year. So I mean, for me, equities, if you're looking for high risk, come to the Nigerian Stock Exchange. If you can't play in this space by yourself, then we got you covered with our equity fund.
All right. Thank you. Priscilla again, she wants to know, for recurring contributions to the Eurobond account, will interest rates increase as time goes on, or are we stuck at the same rate once invested?
Excellent question. So all the rates returns I quoted earlier are not fixed returns. Please bear that in mind. And that's why you see that there was an actual return and a benchmark, right? The benchmark is supposed to guide you as like the floor. That's like the worst you can get as of now, right? So none of the returns are fixed. On the markets, right? So if we see an increase, an uptick in the yields in the markets, then of course you see that translates to the returns you're equally getting in that regard as well, be it the Euro bond or the bond fund or the money market, whichever one it is. So you will see that uptick as well if there's an improvement. However, if there's also a downside to the yield, right, then of course that will equally affect what it is you're getting. But the most important thing here, and I want to emphasize and say it well so everyone gets it, is that your capital is preserved. So you're not going to fall short and be in a situation whereby your account is in negative. You're not going to get none of that. And even if you look at our benchmark across the board, you see that they're pretty strong benchmarks. So you're sure to still get returns that are significantly higher than what you're getting in definitely UK, US, or Canada.
All right, Justin Boss, your question is finally being treated. Are dividends paid on mutual funds different from the accrued interest you get? Please answer this.
So they're one and the same for us. So when I speak to returns, when I mention returns, that's what you've accrued or that's what we're going to pay as a dividend. So they are one and the same. Basically, and the reason for this is based on our own methodology of valuation, right? When we use an accrual system, you don't tend to get the other side of that capital gain where you now get an extra dividend besides what has been accrued, right? And that's why you're not also subjected to any erosion of your capital as well. So it's one and the same, right? So for the money markets, we pay these returns quarterly. The bond fund and the Euro bond fund is paid annually, as I mentioned earlier, between the period of maybe June and July, depending on when our regulators approve our results.
Okay, one more question. Does return vary with capital invested? Is there an increase in returns with increase in capital? Is there an increase in returns with increase in capital? That's from Sheung.
Right, beautiful question. And I think I would have to go into discussing mutual funds and the beauty of what it is, right? A mutual fund basically is a collective investment scheme, right? And what this simply means, just putting all the grammar aside, is just basically you putting your money with other people together for a purpose. The question I get from most investors is, why do I want to put my funds with others? Why don't I just go alone? And I'll give you a typical example of what would happen in a Nigerian investment. If you were to do a fixed deposit to your bank and you had, let's say, the sum of 10 million naira, and you told them you want to place it for 90 days, as of now, which is 3 months, you'll probably be getting returns within the regions of about 2 or 3%, right? 2 or 3%. But if you approach that same bank and you have 20 billion, right? You're not going to get that same 2-3%. You're going to get something significantly higher. And that's the power, that's the bargaining power, right? You have that power of bargaining because you have more. You have so much more. And that's the essence of a mutual fund. So it allows you to be able to get more than you typically be able to get. And besides that, it also allows you to be able to diversify your investments. So that diversifies your risk and also improves the returns you're getting. So you could buy some bonds that are yielding high. You could buy some short-term bonds as well that are also giving good returns, but also very liquid. So in that sense, you get a cocktail of investment and portfolio that would definitely exceed if you as an individual bought or went for an investment alone. So just to answer the question right directly, what that simply means is your volume does not determine your return. Right, it has to do with the market environment as regards to returns that are available, and of course the expertise of the fund manager, which we do have the best in United Capital, right? So I would encourage anyone to rather do a mutual fund than go alone. The only reason why I would say go alone, if you're someone that is looking to buy a direct euro bond and you're looking for coupons and you don't want to be subjected, you're not going to trade your bond anytime, you're going to hold to maturity, then yeah, that's fine. Right? That's fine. But typically, mutual funds tend to offer you more as regards return, flexibility, and just having that cocktail that diversifies your risk and gives you a bit more. So for me, I believe in mutual funds, so I'll urge you to do that. But if you have the capacity for a direct purchase and you know you can hold to maturity, by all means, once we can find appropriate bonds for you that we know would give you the right yield that you deserve, we execute.
That's all we can take for now. Thank you, everyone, for your questions.
Right.
Thank you, Ore, for treating each question. This session was very insightful. Please direct further questions to us via email. Our email address is info@unitedcapitalplcgroup.com, or you can also reach out to us on social media. On Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, we are United Capital PLC, and on Twitter, we are United Cap. Oh, I like that you changed, you shared your contact details, because somebody had mentioned, how can I reach Ore? So that's really nice.
So I'll just call that out for people. My email address is ore.ajayi@unitedcapitalplcgroup.com. You can reach me on my mobile via WhatsApp or FaceTime on that's +234 816-80-666-39. It's out there on the screen. You can just grab that and call me. I'll be more than open to take you one-on-one and just put you through the market. I understand that an investment journey is very personal and very intimate, so you might really want to do this one-on-one. So feel free to reach out to me at any point in time. Download our Invest Now application. Reach out to us via all possible channels. We'll be there to guide you every single step of the way. I think we, or Nigerians in diaspora, have the power to really change things back home. So I want everyone to see this as an opportunity to look back home and be able to change the dynamic. We have the opportunity to invest in our own local economy by investing in the company's stock on stock exchange, drive that growth. You also have the opportunities to take advantage of these instruments that you'll be amazed that most of the funds you're investing in there in the US, that those are the foreign portfolio investors, are bringing back here, right? So you have the power, you have the knowledge, and you have the access to the market. So stay safe out there. Both as regards COVID and as regards your investments, be very wary and ensure that you always do your due diligence. Thank you guys for coming for the session. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out. We'd like to get your messages, see where you reached out from, be it the UK, US, wherever. So thank you all.
Thank you, Ore. Also, please, if you are interested in any of our investment options, please visit our investment platform, Invest Now. It's our digital platform. You can also download on Apple, on the App Store, and also on Google Play. Or you can also go to www.investnow.com. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, Ore, so much.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
We hope you had much fun, and we will be sending a feedback form so you can actually tell us how you feel about this session, and also advice for future sessions. And we would like to give you a better experience. So please stay safe, stay healthy, and good night.
All right, thank you, Biswa. Cheers.
Thank you, Ore.
Bye.
Bye.